Similarly, in the cuddy, we've got all the sealing in there. And now that I come down and look at it, I'm gonna add a piece of trim molding there too and finish that off. Inside, we've got this torn apart again, but we fixed those floor steps. That's access to the valve thruster, but I stepped on it twice and broke it, so we through bolted it. And not that I'm going to try to step on it again, but it's a lot more robust. And then made a shelf in here, so this entire area you're going to have a nice big shelf. That'll be a hanging locker below it. And then got this transition worked out pretty well. Got all the soft sealing up in the cuddy cabin. All I have left to do in here are reading lights, install that, fan, and carpet.
We have had a few delays getting the project done, starting to lose a little bit of help and whatnot, but we're making pretty significant progress inside. You can see here the soft ceilings are in, getting a lot of the cabinets in. So it is starting to come together and look like something less like a construction project.
Also got the vanity installed in the bathroom. So it's not installed yet, but here's where it's going to go. We cut it back. I've got full access to my all of my water manifolds and access to the tray in the side there. So that's set to go. I did have to call the countertop guy because the measurement's wrong. So fortunately they hadn't cut it yet. And then cabinets, as I got the rest of the cabinets here, mated these up. This is going to go in that corner and covering up the ducting. So I've got that all set to go. I'll mount these cabinets. Underneath these, I need to run the air conditioning ducts under there. So decided to put 120 at the base of each of the nightstands. You can't see it on that one, but 120. And then I've got this chase here so I can run the air conditioning ducting and some 12 volt lines through there to get, for reading lamps. And I've got another fan to install back here. Just still trying to figure out exactly where that's going to be. So, and this worked out well too. So I got this in and made the head bumper area for the entry in that knuckle door. I think that turned out pretty clean.
Just thought I'd show a couple of detailed pictures of how this entry area in the knuckle door is installed. We put some extra padding behind those 3 sections, and they are removable sections, so they could be repaired or replaced if necessary. But that makes, I think, a pretty clean entrance. Here I'm laying out the cabinetry in the master bedroom, just trying to see how that's going to fit, make sure our clearances are correct, and planning out how I'm going to implement the ducting and electrical that needs to go behind and underneath them.
Well, been working on the bedroom cabinets today and got most of them set in. These all worked pretty well. The one in the end had a little bit of a clearance problem, and I'm waiting for an air conditioning register. Have to put a 4x8 in here. I had to order that, so when that comes in, I'll finally install that cabinet. But the rest of them are all set over there. And I've got to do something with the trim on the ceiling. Modify that so I can get that one up. But those are both really easy, and that's going to look pretty nice, I think. Once I get some doors and drawers in there. Okay, so continuing to work in the interior here. Getting the soft ceilings in and found this molding. You worry about the transition here, but it worked out pretty well. You see along the base there. So we've got the soft ceilings in. A couple of trim pieces to finish up yet, but it's basically there. I think that ends up being a pretty clean transition, and it certainly makes the boat feel much better. And I've got the cabinets. This is in the master salon. That's what we're going to be working on this afternoon. Running some electrical behind them and installing them. We've got some more cabinets in the kitchen, and got the soft ceilings and that transition in. I think that worked out pretty nicely. So I mounted these this afternoon. Kind of see how the cabinets are going to sit there. Something I was concerned about was how dark's that corner going to be. And actually, the microwave light works out pretty well. So they'll work out pretty well for cooking. And this is all the prep stuff. You know, the prep area would be here. Here's going to be a sink and dishwasher. So those are all in.
And here, just a few still shots of what the kitchen cabinets look like. Waiting for doors and drawers, and countertops should be coming next week. I was also working outside and had a devastating incident. Somehow I was cutting some metal, and why is it that red hot flashing ends up inside your overalls and burns a hole in your shirt?
I've used Kuza board and made this shelf in the back. Now the electric steering actuators are underneath the board, but that's a mount for the water heater and the fire suppression system. So that's all set in. And on the exhaust systems, can't really see it from here, but we mocked that up and made some, I wasn't sure how those were going to set in there. I was not going to put hanging straps or anything like that. So what we did was made some well, basically saddles out of aluminum, and they've got put the heavy rubber in between them, so the muffler sits in those pretty solidly, and the rubber will help the vibration a little bit. That combined with the fairly rigid exhaust pipes ought to work out pretty well. What I'm liking is how clean it fits. You can kind of see I do have the muffler down in there. I just have to cut a longer length of pipe for that, but it's really nice and clean and out of the way.
Had some pretty heavy rain last night. When I got up in the morning, I needed a boat to get out of my trailer.
Had to re-break the edge on the whale tail. Had some air gaps in there, and I did it last time. It didn't get resined properly. So we broke that all down, redid it today. That ought to be nice and solid. So this is pretty much, we'll sand that down tomorrow. It'll be ready to be sprayed with the reflex as well. Also, they put the camera in the wrong spot. This is where the transom light goes, and the camera would block it. So got to relocate that to underneath here. That'll really work out well. What I really need the camera for is positioning the rear of the boat when I'm docking. So that'll give me that view just beautifully. Okay, so busy day today. We got been working on getting the boat prepped for the reflex on the decks. You see we've got it all pretty much masked off with a lot of the cut tape. We've got all the decks prepped. Tomorrow morning we're going to come in and use tack cloth on it, clean it all up, put the reflex on. But they've all been cleaned up. We did have to pull the knuckle door out today. That wasn't sealed up right, wasn't aligned quite right, so pulled it out and reset it. That's all good to go now. And here's the fly bridge, again, all set to go. That bundle right there is all the wiring that goes up to the fly bridge. So heaven forbid that falls out in transport and gets ripped out. Wow, that'd be a mess.